Hello, my name is Greg Skasny. I'm the CTO and co-founder here at Blue Shift Cybersecurity, and today we're going to be talking about Blue Shift's IntelliThreaT AI, and specifically IntelliThreaT AI for Microsoft 365, what it does and how it can work for your organization. So, what is IntelliThreaT AI? IntelliThreaT AI is an agentic AI solution that we've developed that allows us to look at a lot of different information that comes in from different platforms, beginning with Microsoft 365, analyze that data in real time, provide insights into what that data is telling us from a threat perspective, and also respond to threats as they're detected within organizations in those platforms. We're doing this with a security as a service model that will scale with our customers and allow our partners to have good margin reselling and the products that we have into their customer bases. So why are we doing this? So, we run a security operations center or SOC, and the challenges with our SOC are the challenges that most organizations that run a SOC have. And that's just the amount of data that is coming into our SOC on a daily basis. We have an XDR platform that we put out to our customers, and the amount of data we collect it just continues to grow. It's not possible for humans to look at and understand this amount of data that has come in. So we really have to rely on automation to do that. And now we're starting to utilize our agentic AI to do that. SOC analysts always have been susceptible to alert fatigue and burnout. Staring at panes of glass all day, looking at the same alerts over and over and over again, analyzing the same types of things over again, tends to lead to things like misses. SOC analysts don't want to stay in their job for a long time. So we're trying to change that and letting AI take over some of those SOC analyst duties, replacing the need for level 1.5 SOC analyst with agentic AI. So that way the analysts can focus on harder tradecraft and more interesting problems than just the normal type of alerts that come in every day. And realize running a SOC is expensive. Average SOC costs about $2.5 million to run and for tools and staffing. And there's a lot of manual processes involved in that. So the more we can rely on automation to do that, the more we can rely on AI to do those jobs, the more accurate we can be at our jobs, the quicker we can respond to things. And that just leads to better outcomes for our company and our customers who utilize the platform. So why autonomous AI is a game changer for cybersecurity. Autonomous AI, it runs by itself. We have agents that run that look over this data. They're goal oriented, right? So they're looking for anomalies. They're looking for specific threats, and then they're analyzing those type of threats. They can learn from past incidents. They can learn from documentation that we have. They can learn from cyber threat intelligence bulletins that we get that we feed into some of the LLMs that we use and those sorts of things. And having access to some of the history of what it's done in the past, it understands in context what is happening inside a particular environment and why certain things may be anomalous or threatening and need someone to look at or needs to respond to and those sorts of things. In addition, we can integrate with traditional logic, right? So traditional logic, is if X equals Y, we do this. Those things still have purpose in defensive cyber. It shouldn't be the only thing we're doing, but when we add autonomous agentic AI into traditional logic while it's running, so agents that will look over these traditional logic rules, and now it can make analysis of things that are detected with these rules. It can do deep dive analysis, determine, is this actually a threat? Does this really need remediation? Does this require an alert to somebody? And you can do that almost instantly. So it's really a pairing of both this really neat anomaly detection that AI can do by itself, and then marrying that with the traditional logic that we and other customers already have in place to do detections. You come up with a really robust solution in the end for determining, again, what is anomalous in this environment, what is a threat in this environment, what we should do about that from a remediation standpoint. Some of the core features and things of how our agentic AI works. Our agents work independently. They all have different jobs to do. We have several agents that run on different types of data, and they all have a specific job to do, whether that's enriching data, correlating data, investigating information that was given to it from other agents, providing briefings or reporting to other agents. So they all kind of work together as a team, kind of like you would as a SOC team too, where you may have a level one analyst who's just triaging initial events, who then escalates that to a level two analyst to do correlations, who then escalates that to another team to do remediations. Well, we have agents who fit those type of roles within our system as well. So they're really kind of imitating what is done in a SOC from an AI standpoint, and then handing off to either our customers or our analyst kind of this pre-generated report on what it's determined, what it's found, and what you should do about those things. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. The other thing that we do is like to be able to integrate with different things, and I'll talk more about that here going forward. But being able to look into threat intelligence information, whether it's in the form of bulletins or real-time technical threat information in the form of IP addresses and file hashes, domains, things like that that you would do in kind of traditional SOC threat hunting and those sorts of things. We can feed that in there as well. So they have access to all this information that our analysts would have. They have access to, again, like our bulletins, they have access to our threat intelligence and all that sort of thing. And so they can utilize that information to make better decisions as it's looking over logs and things like that. So it's kind of how the flow of things that happen. So our AI will then detect anomalies and threats. It will analyze that and then generate responses is the kind of generic workflow. And then responses can be anything from, again, generating well thought out alert to send to a customer to actually reaching in and doing things eventually in environments to stop threats in real time. The first product we're releasing is IntelliThreat for Microsoft 365, like I mentioned. And people always ask us, what is Microsoft doing in this realm? And Microsoft has a lot of tools that I'm going to talk about within Microsoft 365. They have some AI tools as well. But the problem is, in our opinion, is you really need to be an analyst sometimes to utilize those tools. Their information's in a lot of different dashboards. You need to kind of look around places to get there. When you set up Microsoft 365, if you just leave the default settings, you're leaving yourself at risk. You really need to look over those settings, make sure you're following best practices and those things. And our AI agents will notice things when environments are not set up for best practice. And doing all this kind of manually takes up a lot of time. It drains resources and those sorts of things. When you set up your environment to be utilized with IntelliThreat AI, we give you a PowerShell script that you run. It shoots back it sets up the logging, how to log things properly within that environment for us to be able to ingest. It sends back to you some information that you need to send back to us securely. We provision that on our end, and then you're kind of off and running. We make it very, very easy and not very many manual things to do to actually integrate our product into your Microsoft 365 environment. There's other things that Microsoft provides. Copilot, everybody's heard of Copilot, so they have a thing called Security Copilot. But again, the problem is when you sit down and work with Copilot, you're really expected to be an analyst. You're expected to understand the questions that you should ask of your data to get to the root cause of something, or get to how I should remediate something, or even if this something that I'm looking at is even a threat or not. Those are things that analysts do, and that's really what we're trying to replace, is the need to have an analyst sit down and ask those type of questions. AI is really good at asking those type of questions and analyzing those sorts of things. When you use Copilot, again, you're expected almost to be an analyst, and our model is not like that at all. Our model takes that out of your hands and does an analysis for you. Copilot also has access to a lot of data that it can overshare, and that's happened. There's been some leaks and things you can see on the screen here. It's also obviously susceptible to prompt injection because you're sitting there at an AI prompt asking it questions. Our AI is all prompted by us. You're not interacting with it. It's interacting with itself, and it's giving you the results of the analysis that it's doing. And the last thing comes down to cost. I'm a very technical individual. Here at my company, I am the chief technology officer, and I can't figure out how to price Copilot for an organization. They sell it in a thing called security units. It can, I don't know. It's very difficult to price, or at least get predictable pricing, in my opinion. Our product is not priced like that. Our product is for Microsoft 365 is very reasonably priced, and it's priced per user in the environment. So it's very transparent, very predictable. There's no surprises about what it's going to cost you to be able to utilize our services with Microsoft 365. Other thing that we're really big on is integrations. both internal integrations, external integrations. As we know, Microsoft really likes to be able to lock people into their ecosystems. And I don't blame them for that. That's a business decision that they really try to get people to use more of their products, and that's understandable. But the problem is a lot of companies are not all 100% bought into just the Microsoft stack. They may have other things in their environment, especially if you're an MSP or an MSSP. You may have your own PSA tool. You may have a separate SIM. You may not be using Sentinel. You may be using a different antivirus and not be using Defender and all these different things. And that starts to make it difficult in environments to be able to integrate and get access to all that data or put data where you need to be. Our systems are designed and open for integrations. We provide a dashboard system that I'll show you as part of the demo for looking at the data that we're analyzing and some other things you can do inside there. But our data is stored in very easy to access, easy to integrate formats like JSON. We can integrate with PSA tools or ticketing systems. We can integrate with external SIMs. We by default send out emails for things that we find. We can integrate with other dashboarding systems. So we really look to be able to work within a company's workflow and not have to replace that company's workflow when it comes to how they deal with alerts and things within their company. We really try to be flexible and not force people to adhere to the way that we do our workflows or everything that we do. It's much better if we can come in and work within that company's workflow. So we try really hard at that and work very well with integrations of where to put data when we find alerts and things like that. And so other thing we spend a lot of time on is the format of what our AI is telling you in the very end. There's a lot of things that the AI in the back, our agents talk to each other with that customers never see. But in the end, what you need is something happen in your environment. It's an event of some sort. We need an analysis of that event. We need to know what caused that event. We need to know how to remediate that event and have a nice summary at the end. And so our alerts, unlike most systems like this, try not to use technical jargon that only security analysts understand. There's all kinds of acronyms, especially in the cybersecurity field. I think we have more than anybody. We really tried to have our AI explain in plain terms what has happened, what the root cause of that is, how you fix it, and give you a summary. And that it always comes out in that same format. They're prompted to give that kind of specific output, what you see here on the right-hand side. We'll show you some examples of that too. And this type of analysis is always available to our customers on any alert that we've detected or anything that's in our system. You can go into our dashboards, you can click, and it'll analyze it for you in real time. And we'll show you that here as an example. But it's very important that, again, alerts and advice is given in plain language and not in super technical jargon. Now, it is a technical system, right? So looking at alerts and things, you're going to see things like IP addresses and domain names and those sorts of things. You just can't get away from, you need to have some base IT knowledge to be able to work with this. But you don't have to be a security expert, right? This is something that the IT people who are not security experts can utilize and get good data from and get good reports from when the alert comes in and it can tell you what you need to do. Looking towards the future, we see this kind of autonomous AI not working not just for Microsoft 365, but for many different platforms. I'm going to show you here in a second. Our first product we're releasing again is for Microsoft 365, but we will be building IntelliThreaT for other products as well, because the base of the platform is designed that the data coming in is really arbitrary. It just needs to understand what that data set is, and then we can build some traditional logic around that and let the AI do what it does best, and then we start getting the same type of data you'll see like here at Microsoft 365. So as you can see here, these are just an example of things we're building IntelliThreaT for. Again, we did Microsoft 365, which is in beta right now, but we'll do other cloud platforms like AWS and Azure, GCP and Oracle, those sorts of things. Of course, our own XDR system will be taking advantage of IntelliThreaT very, very shortly. We will be doing some open source platforms like Wazoo. Wazoo is a very popular SIM platform, I should say, that's in use for a lot of organizations. It generates a lot of data. It's perfect for IntelliThreaT. Suricata, network security monitoring and intrusion detection prevention system. Again, that's a great place to be able to use AI. Same thing with EDRs, so integrating in EDRs into that thing. And as customers start to utilize more of the IntelliThreat in their environment, so they may have Microsoft 365 and maybe they have RxDR and they have CrowdStrike or they have SentinelOne. All those IntelliThreats will actually start to work together, so they can talk to each other, they can do responses across each other, and those sorts of things. So as the things in your stack get integrated with IntelliThreat, the detections get better, the remediations get better, the automatic responses get better. So we're looking forward to developing these as we go forward. And this is really what we're trying to do. Again, remove the need for that level 1 triage, level 1.5 triage. So the AI can take care of the triage. It can take care of giving you the actions of what needs to happen in the form of alerts. It can do autonomous hunting. It can prioritize things. Everything you'll see in our system, even the Microsoft 365 system, you'll see it's based on risk. We have a risk score that goes from 0 to 100, and everything is kind of based off that risk score that gets modified based on things it sees and how it pulls external data and those sorts of things. And lastly, what we actually be releasing here very soon is the attack disruption piece of it. So the automated responses going in environments like Microsoft 365, if there's a compromised account, and locking that account or removing all the sessions that it has, those sorts of responses to compromised events inside Microsoft 365. So, and then reporting to our customers that, hey, the IntelliThreat has detected this. This is an egregious anomaly or an egregious alert. We've taken these actions, and then letting the customers know that those actions were taken. So that way, a follow-up can be done, and then proper sanitation of that user or that system can occur. So what I'll do now is let's just take a look at the demo of the environment. So this is our dashboarding system. This is a multi-tenant dashboard system. So MSPs and MSSPs, if they have multiple customers, if they want to be able to see all their customers' data, they can do that. If not, our customers log in. They get set up in our identity management system. This system requires two-factor authentication, obviously, to be able to access it. This is a demo environment here, so there's no real data in here, so I can show everything here. We give some high level data so people can understand how the system is working for them. So you can see how many alerts we've detected over a certain period of time. You can pull down different time periods. I'm going to stick to 24 hours. Usually easy one to look at. You can see the total events that are coming into the system as well. You can see how many AI analysis were performed when it's detected something. So we also put up here the days to your key expiration. So one of the things we get as part of our PowerShell script is we get a secret key that comes with the tenant, and that key has an expiration as it should. But once that key expires, then obviously we're no longer able to access and analyze that data. So we'll show you, hey, this is when that key is going to expire. You'll actually get an alert and email 30 days prior to that key expiring, so that way we can get a new key and make sure things can continue to work, being proactive on those things here. So coming down a little bit, you'll see a few things, and I'm gonna move back and forth a little bit here, but you'll get the reasons why. On the left here, we have what we call playbook alerts. So playbook is that traditional logic that I talked about, and there's no reason to throw out that traditional logic. Again, there are things that just happen in environments that we know we want to investigate. Period. End of story. It just happens. Like again, a new forwarding rule, admin consent granted. These are things that just, again, they happen. We need to look at them. We need to determine if this was something that we need to look at or not. So we have those. What we show here is over this time period, how many of those we have detected, the top 10 that we've detected. So you can see those here on the playbook side. And then we have anomalies. So anomalies should never have the same title, right? So this title should always be different. If that title ends up being the same, then that's something you should write a playbook for. And the AI will have the ability shortly to actually write playbooks on its own for anomalies that it's detected in the environment. So, but since those don't repeat, we just show the last top 10 that we detected here. So you can see the last 10 anomalies that were detected in the environment. If you're interested in what detection rules we use, you can come up here, and we don't hide those from anybody. We can come over here and you can click here, and this will take you to our documentation page. It shows you what our threat levels mean. Our 5 different, they're pretty self-explanatory, but if you want to know, you can see those there. And then we list all of our playbooks here. Now this pulls from our live detection database, so these are always up to date. It will tell you when we added them, when we last updated them. We have a unique ID, what it does, what the title is, its level, as far as the threat goes. So you can look through all these and see what we're again. We don't hide these detections. They're here, and you should understand what we're detecting inside the environment. So that's from the playbook side. So we can come in here. So we have a couple different tables down below that will show. So one is actionable alerts, and we'll give a little histogram to show actionable alerts over time. So actionable alerts are alerts that are going to be sent to you via email or going to go to your SIM, whatever external integration you have. It's going to be things that need to be looked at. And so what's going to be sent to you is, I'm going to show you here in a second, is when I click on this, you can actually get an analysis of it. So what happens in the background, though, when these action alerts happen, they get analyzed, and the same thing I'm going to show you here gets sent to you via an email. So I'm going to click on this. This goes out to our AI. It's going to ask our AI to analyze the information from this alert, and you're going to see a real-time analysis. Now, this will be a little bit different than what you got in the email because this is doing it in real time. So it's asking our AI to basically reanalyze that in real time. But it'll be very, very similar. The way we prompt our AI and the way we tell it to output gives a very consistent answer, even though the words may be a little bit different. The overall analysis, root cause analysis, and recommendations are going to be almost exactly the same. Again, with just a little bit different wording because it is AI, right? So it'll tell you, what the alert was, what the analysis of that alert was, what the root cause of it was, what you should do, and then a conclusion. At the very bottom, it will give you a full log of what it is. You can escalate this to our SOC. If you subscribe to that service, you can click on a button like this. This account isn't subscribed to that. That's okay. But if it is, that would escalate that to our SOC. And you can do that here too. So there's other alerts that happen here. You can escalate these to our SOC should you have that service available to you. But you can do that for any alert you want. So if you want to know what the malware filter policy modified, that's something you definitely want to keep a look at. You can come in here. Again, it'll tell you that someone this fake employee. Again, this is demo data, so none of this data is actually real. We're actually using AI to generate the alerts for this demo system, which is really kind of cool. But it'll tell you that this was triggered by this employee from this IP address. It'll tell you that what to do about it. The nice thing too is it actually will go out, and you can see here in this logs, it asks our threat intelligence, is any IOC it finds in those alerts, is this part of any of our threat intelligence feeds? We have massive threat intelligence feeds. We have a MISP server that we maintain that has tons of information, and it's updated continuously. So it has access to all that information. It can search there and find out from any kind of indicators it has if these are malicious at any time, and that helps it determine the severity of those alerts right there too. So very easy to use. Again, you'll get those in your email. Obviously, this alert ID you can correlate as well. So if you get something in the email, you want to know what specific alert it is in, you can look at that. These are unique to each alert that comes in, so that's why they're shown there. We will also show, so these are things, again, these are either playbooks or anomaly alerts that up in this table that are actionable that will be sent to you. But we also keep everything else the system does too. So any anomalies that our anomaly agents, our anomaly AI has determined it needs to look at will be shown here. So this is every anomaly that it's seen over the past 24 hours. And you can come in and you can look at these as well. You can analyze them if you want. Again, these, if they're not of a certain threshold, they're not going to send to you. But you can come in and see what those anomalies and what they look like in the system as well. You can come down here and see playbook alerts. So these are all the different traditional logic alerts that have happened. And you'll see something interesting like here. You see this medium level alert, but it has a risk score of 0. Again, everything in our system, everything that we detect is based on this kind of risk score. And that risk score gets modified as different agents talk to each other and different things happen in the analysis of these alerts. But you'll see here something medium with a risk score 2. Well, that tells me that this is a repeating alert. So the system will not keep nagging you with the same alert over and over and over again throughout the day. It's going to say, hey, I've seen this alert before. I've already sent this to the customer. I'm going to wait a certain time period, and then I will then send that to the customer again. We click on this, and we can see inside here that says this alert is a recurring issue and has already been analyzed. It's not going to send you the same type of alert over and over and over again 100 times. We don't want to have alert fatigue. So it's going to wait. Usually it's about 24 hours before it will send you that alert again. So it's not blowing up your inbox or blowing up your SIM with the same alerts over and over and over and over again. That causes alert fatigue, and we don't want people to just ignore those alerts as they're coming in. So it does have the ability to do that as well. So that's the system from, and then once we release the responding pieces, we'll have another table down below that you'll actually be able to see all the responses it's taken inside that environment over time. You can go back in time. We keep this analyzed data for about a year, so you can always go back and do that for compliance purposes. We have the ability to hold on to Microsoft 365 data if you so choose. There's a lot of different flexibility things that come in with the system. So, but that's the system in a nutshell. We do have a beta going on right now, so if you're interested in the beta, you can reach out to us. Our website is www.blueshiftcyber.com. We're happy to get you signed up and look at the beta or get you access to the demo platform. Thanks for your time today. We appreciate it, and we hope to hear from you soon.